The former St. Joseph's Hospital building is now ready for construction. We'll tell you more. Plus, the Jasper Library Board continues exploring the Hoosier Desk building, and Mark Messmer and I sit down for this week's legislative update tonight on Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. More on the St. Joseph's project in just a moment. We begin with a Daviess County man losing his life early this morning after he was hit by a truck just outside of Washington. Just before 6 o'clock, Daviess County Sheriff's deputies were called to the 1200 block of State Road 57 near Jones & Sons Concrete and Masonry Products. The man, 31-year-old Cody Arnold of Washington, was pronounced dead at the scene by the Daviess County Coroner's Office. Authorities say the accident happened when 47-year-old John Heffernan, also of Washington, was driving southbound on State Road 57 and hit Arnold, who was walking along the road. Heffernan was not injured. Now, authorities say the accident remains under investigation. Washington Police and Southwest Medical also assisted. The long-awaited renovation of the former St. Joseph's Hospital property into senior housing will soon begin. Last night, Mayor Denny Spenner told the Huntingburg City Council that property transfers for the project are completed and all funding has been secured. Spenner says he received the news through an email from developer Pete Schweigerot yesterday morning. He says the efforts to make this project happen are finally being rewarded.
It's the first step towards a real revitalization of that area. I can't say enough what this means to our community and how many people have worked tirelessly in front of and behind the scenes to make this happen, and it'll just be a very exciting day here in the next few days when people will see that this project is not just an idea or a dream, it is a reality.
Now, Miller Valentine Group bought 30,000 square feet of the old hospital building for this project. Groundbreaking and construction on the project will happen sometime within the next week or so. The project is set to be completed sometime within the next year. Concerns are being raised about the former Hoosier Desk building as a future site for the Jasper Public Library. In a letter obtained by 18 News, officials with Universal Design Associates outlined several of these concerns for Jasper City officials. The letter, which is addressed to City, Library, and the Arts Commission, cites leaning exterior walls, deteriorated mortar joints, concrete floors that aren't level, and trusses that are bowing as structural problems with the building. Universal Design also reported several other concerns and recommended having more tests and work done on the building before moving ahead. Now, we also obtained a copy of the response from Barry Alberts of Project Consultant City Visions. In that memo, Alberts writes, though the concerns raised by Universal Designs are important, they are not the sole factor in determining the feasibility of the Hoosier Desk building. Now, last night, the Jasper Library Board approved spending up to $15,000 to move ahead with an environmental study. Library Director Christine Golden says the study is still important in spite of any concerns.
We want to really just still continue to do this work. Everyone knows there's concerns with this building. Any older building, there's going to be concerns. So the biggest thing for us is to, once we do this engineering study, we will find out those concerns and know if this is a viable project or if it's maybe not a viable project. But the collaborative efforts are going to be, worth it on our end just to be able to find out really what we can do.
Golden says the board will also look into options at the current library. She and other board members will be talking to neighbors in the area to find out if they would be on board with selling any land that might be needed to build a new building. Those conversations are expected to take place over the next week. State university leaders are urging lawmakers to give them a larger funding increase to avoid future hikes in tuition. University leaders say the percentage of state funding for public university budgets has been dropping over the last several decades. Now, a budget proposal in the House would raise higher education funding by 3.5% over the next 2 years. The House and the Senate will have to agree on one proposed budget by the end of the legislative session coming up next month. And finally tonight, a shakeup in the leadership of the Indiana Republican Party will lead to a top advisor to Governor Mike Pence taking over as the state's new GOP chairman. Yesterday, Pence nominated Jeff Cardwell to head the state party as he nears a decision on whether to enter the presidential race or to concentrate on a 2016 re-election bid. Cardwell is replacing Tim Berry, who Pence picked as the GOP chairman in July of 2013. Berry left in the middle of his second term as state auditor at that time to take the party post. Cardwell is a former Indianapolis City County Council member who has been a senior advisor to Pence and is currently the director of the state's Office of Faith-Based and Community Initiatives. Cardwell's appointment is subject to the approval of the state's GOP committee. All right, coming up after the break, sunny skies are in store for the weekend and more on what's happening at the State House. We're back after this.